just describe. There's a contract. We're here, we ain't here to see you. We're here to laugh every 15 seconds. And like comics,
no, I know that they're going to be like, no,
Robin
the
Williams,
songs are
the all-time great. They go in and accept those conditions. You've seen stuff. I'm sure, like Robin Williams. He's just like walking around in the crowd in that very room. It's like he's doing the thing.
Through your eyes, looking on me in a bad way.
That's when you think, I suppose I do get out that you're road testing it to its durability to an
mere meditation since I was child. I didn't realize I was doing
think about every time you say something.
Holy shoot!
When you have a subject, say if you want to do, you want to talk about the mentors that you have in life. It's an open-ended approach. You have no idea
and as a kid, I wanted
what the correct way to say something is.
And
try.
I had this vision of
you write it
this
out.
place, place with the buildings were all in a circle, and in the center we would all be, and everybody that was there would live in peace
or they
and
never adjust it. They never go back and improve it. They just say it a certain way and figure out how to do it. When you're doing it in front of a crowd, you're developing these things.
It was only a depiction as a child, as to show me the buildings is what, like, is our home, right? That's our home, and our home is a circle, and everybody within it is the circle of the world, where peace on earth is my vision, and
listening to your
it's my
material,
goal, my sole
it
purpose,
makes you change and shift and adjust
help break
things.
down the systemization and bring you back to the promised land, to tell you
the
the
more you
truth.
do it, the more you get a
As I
sense
share
of
my
maybe
truth with
this
you,
is
and I swear on my life
here,
and my
maybe I
soul,
figure out a
I
better
swear
way to say
everything
it.
I know and everything that is.
I agree, but the counter argument could be that it could bias you to a sort of a lowest common denominator area. Same with that bit where you talk about the sun, and
it's true. Just like Jesus told you the truth. I can't tell you Jesus' truth. I know within myself. I know because I can see it now that I know the truth. You can't not see the truth unless you know the truth.
For me, it's like, I think
he was spirit, just as I am spirit. He is I as I am him. And Jesus will live again. And Jesus will live as we realize that I'm telling you the truth, and you know your truth now. You know.
So can you recall
set us free, and then
what it's
Jesus will
like?
live within us.
You night after night going in with new bits of
Jesus is here
material,
somewhere. He's
packaged with
reincarnated or somewhere.
Yeah, and I put that on a special. I can do it better now.
So you gotta look at the emerald tablets of fucking Egyptian. I love those. And Anubis, Anubis, the guy with the souls, they're at destinations, telling them it's how the souls mummified them and made sure that they knew how to ascend to the next level to get back home. And that was, that's why they put such care into being with the sick and the dying, not the death. The death is fine. That's the passage of the next lifetime. But being with them is to help them, be in love and happy harmony, and to focus on, sending your soul back in home. And that passageway.
Yeah, it is, but
Anubis, I've seen Anubis stand in front of me, and literally, one of my visions.
See, because I figured out a way to express it.
I would say it was July,
short
June or
doses,
July,
short bursts.
Yeah, around the time. And then
stare at the vocal line.
In the summertime.
Trying to get cancer. If it's not there, you get sad.
And the only
so in that short burst, like, it's,
as I watched my,
all those things are true.
Yeah,
It's crazy. There really is a fireball floating in the sky. We're just used to it. We live because of floating a million times bigger than the Earth fireball. And
see, everything's pixelized and everything's
if you could say something like that and make
those
someone laugh,
and if you
actually
really pay attention to what you were seeing in those hallucinations, they will make sense to you, my dear. It's either going to be your fear, or you're letting something in, or something's being told you, or you need a lesson that you need to learn.
And it forces someone to laugh,
connection with the divine, and the burning bush.
If they're laughing, like, I didn't fucking agree with this.
That's your path. Maybe it's going to tell you some kind of a next lesson that you need to learn, or another hill that you need to climb, another mountain you need to topple.
Think about your thought process
and the Anubis stood in front of me. He appeared and he stood there, and I just, the feeling I got right now is the chill.
Describe the architecture
and he stood by me, and it's one of my passages when I started to ritualize, like a priest ritualizes his Bible. That's when a priest opens up a Bible to a certain page, and he doesn't look. That's because the divine is working through him.
We're not awake to reality.
So he's not picking, he's not choosing, he's not showing you what he wants. He is reading to you through his mouth what he is being shown to show you. So I ritualize my books that way.
Comes access
and
to kind of deeper truths. I've heard some therapists in fact say that
through another book. I use books for everything. They help. They spiritualize it, not universal law. If you ritualize whatever we're using, it becomes a ritualization, and it can be, and then talk through. It's a communication tool. So,
like to
my
just
path, one of them was like, oh, you know, I've died for you in Egypt before you even knew who I was. And as I'm going through my process with them, you know, I was atheist, I'm like, Jesus wasn't, he didn't die in Egypt, did he? No.
Bill Hicks. What I think is fascinating is because,
so I started looking back further, and I'm like, as a newest and artist in front of me, I found the Egyptian gods, and I was like,
that guy worked material a lot. You know, like, I watched this interview of him on the Australian TV. He's doing
like here, and he's told you, he's told you the beings of light, guys. He's told you the man that is not man that walks among you, like us. He's told us that the light beings, when the light beings realize, and they know who they are. See, they you know who you are. If you're a soul, you know who you are.
He's very much a comedian.
And you know, you need to figure out what you are now, because you know, that's what's bringing this into us, to believe what we are, to believe that. Oh no, absolute truth, you know. There's no absolute truth, especially if it's told you, because the only truth you can know is within your own experiences.
I mean, that
I started unlocking doors. It's like a game system. When you start unlocking doors of wanting to know your true self and your whole path, your soul path,
it seems very disciplined.
You put the work in, and you want time to desire, and what's so like you desire it, you will receive.
Well, you know, he's got a very unique process.
Ascension and transcendence is within yourself, guys. It's like a game system, kids. Turn off the game and do the game system within. Once you unlock one door, one password, oh my god, so you just keep on being, you just want to know more.
At turning over a new hour.
And you will see
he
the
can have
truth.
a new.
Once
He can
you
release a
start learning,
Netflix
you'll
special.
see it. You'll be like, oh yeah,
and then have a new hour
yeah,
within a couple
yeah,
of weeks.
oh yeah, click, click, click.
It doesn't even make sense.
That's what I call
I don't understand.
And every time I say that, Adam Sandler, I think of you.
He's in a
But
great
that's
space.
not why I said that.
He's in a great
It's just
mindset.
click, click, when I was going through my research, and I'm like, click, 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 click.
If you pay attention to
I sat there like Neo did
when
for like
people
days, and I'm like,
study,
it can't be
like
right.
read outliers,
Cognitive dissonance. I was like,
read
no way,
how
no way,
people-
nope.
when
And
people
then the first time I
study
manifested
why
wanting to see the
people
spirits, and
are
spirits
great
came,
at what they
fear
do,
dropped in,
what makes them
and that shit
exceptional.
manifested
There's
in
always
my
a
body, and
variety
I
of
sat in the middle of the
factors.
trailer
And
crying. I'm
whatever
like, no, it's gonna be
factors
rubber,
are
that's
vague,
right, because I knew it was
he's
right. It's
got
no
this
telling me it's not
easygoing
true. I know what's
personality,
between my
this, like,
experience
very
is true.
carefree,
And I'm like, dude, oh my god,
looking
just
at
give me
things.
rubber room now.
He's
So I
also
just
gone
want, it's
through a
easier
lot
to
of
be all
bullshit
this,
in
because
his
I was
career,
scared
like,
and
you know,
scared.
like
Fear
the
manifests, because there's
Chappelle
nothing to fear
show,
but fear itself, because
you know,
fear manifests through our
abandoning
and
$50
our
million
mind takes over
going to
and
Africa
believes that it's fear,
and
it's
really
fear, oh my god, it's
understanding
making up fear,
what
and
his
then
real
our body
motivation was.
reacts,
He was
which is
caught up
killing
in
our
that
body.
world where they were trying to change him and commercialize his television show, and he handled it as good as anybody that's ever handled it. Yeah,
I love them. You
fame
know,
and
Sigurd talks
temptation.
about
I think
he
better
cannot
than
see a
anyone I've
man
ever
or
heard
a god
of.
that does
He
not
said,
dance, and it's so
"Fuck
true because I
you."
dance. Once
And
you
he just
find your
went
divine
away.
self,
He went
you
away
can
and then
make.
didn't do gigs for years.
Yeah,
People don't
but I can
understand.
also do
He
this
would
like
show
the
up
yoga,
and do
like
stand-up
the
places, but he wouldn't book
definitely
anything.
Viking warrior.
So like
And I was,
he wasn't
man,
even
I've had my
paid.
life looked into
He
by
was
a
just he
friend.
did
You know,
stand
people
up.
can actually see, they're
Chappelle did
seers, trust
stand
me,
up in the
and they can
park in
see.
Seattle.
I've had a
He
person
brought
see
like
through
a
my
little
eyes, a friend of mine see
amplifier
through
and a
my eyes, like
microphone
read the
set
books
up
in pages
and
through
just
my
started
eyes in
doing
front of me,
stand up
guys.
and people just
I had another
gathered
friend from
around.
high school once I started posting
And
and
he
stuff,
did
like
this
we went
just
to
to
grade
sort
school
of
together,
get
and she
him
told me, she's
back
like,
in
Dawn.
touch with
She's like,
his
I'm so
roots.
glad
He
you
used
know,
to do
she
street
had to erase it from
performing in
her
New York,
own
and I
profile
saw him
because
do
she was
street
getting
performing in
ridiculed.
Montreal.
Because all your
club.
crazy,
And then we came
no,
out of the
she's like, Dawn,
club,
I'm so glad
and
you're saying these
Dave, I
things. She's
think
like,
he
me
was
and
like
my
18 or
kids were
19
dreamwalkers.
just started doing
They're awake
stand-up
in
on
their
the
dreams because
street.
our soul's
And
still
put his
awake,
hat
and we
out,
are our
people put
soul.
money
The
in his
body's
hat,
sleeping, and we are
and
our
he
soul.
was
So those dreams that we
constantly
are
sharpening
within,
that sword.
because a lot of people are
And
dreamwalkers,
he
and they
stopped
actually,
doing stand-up
and
for
she
a
said,
long
my kids
time
come into my
in terms
dreams,
of
they
like
dream together, and they are
booking
actually
gigs.
together
And
in
then
the
after a
dreams.
while, I
Because
said,
she's
"Fuck
like,
it, I'm gonna come
oh,
back
how was
again."
your
And then he
sleep
started
last night?
doing
You
these
know,
gigantic
mommy.
gigs, and then of
Because
course
they
he
were
did
together.
his two recent
Awesome.
Netflix
So
specials
the
were
truth
amongst
is
his
the
best
waking
work
up and
ever.
engaging the Aquarius
And, you know,
and
now
all
he's
our true
working all
passion.
the time. He's
Stars
constantly
in the planets
popping
are
into the Comedy
directed
Store and the Comedy Cellar and all these
directed
different clubs all
and
across the country.
what is that? They
And
flow
constantly
with
doing
love.
stand-up.
That's all it is. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
no
harmony,
social media,
a higher
just
frequency,
not-
back to
not involved
Atlantis.
in any of that
As
stuff.
we know,
Doesn't do
Atlantis,
anything.
dude, it
Just-
was real.
just
It
performs,
sank
just does
because
stuff.
the Atlanteans were trying
Yeah,
to get rid of the
that's
reptilians.
interesting.
They came
When
from
it's
Mars
like-
after they destroyed it.
I
Look
feel
it
that
up.
some
Look up
people
spirit
are,
science.
like,
It
found
actually
their
puts science
essence
and
and found their
spirituality together,
path
and all of like
live
the
it.
people that are
And,
finding
like,
the truth. The
you
truth
know,
seekers. It puts out
like they were
it has
yogi or a
science. It
priest
has
or something.
everything.
Right.
It
He's
is
just got a
all of
devotional.
it.
This
There
is
is
who I am.
nothing
I'm
that
not
is
doing
debunked.
anything.
They bring it up.
It's not that.
And it's, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's exhibited.
And you
Even
research
in
this stuff,
earlier
you
stuff
can.
prior to the
You know what I mean?
crisis, you know what you
That's
see
why they
in the
give you the
crisis,
internet and they tell you
walk away
definitions and
bit.
put your book
Like
because
by
they didn't want you
then,
to free
if he
think.
was at 18
The war on
doing
drugs, the
clubs,
war
he
on
was
free mind.
hardened.
They don't don't want you to think for
that's
yourself.
what seems so
You don't
loose on
want to
stage
just
is
look up
something
George
that
Carlin, the
people
guy's epic.
find
He
because
said that.
Yeah,
He's like,
he was
you
always
are.
good.
It
He
is
was
a
good when
big.
I first met him.
It is
When
a
he was
big
like
club. It is a
I think he
big
was
club,
18, I
and
was
you are
21,
not
so
in it.
somewhere in that
Okay,
range.
you are just
Maybe
a
I was
slave. You are
older.
not in the
He
club
was,
of knowing,
maybe it
and
was
you
like,
are not
how old
within
Dave?
to, you know what I mean? You
46,
think you
47?
are, They tell you you got some rights and freedoms. You don't realize that there is nobody even that made a list of non-rights and freedoms. The Lord is the only one that created us and put us here, and therefore that is our only law. So the judgment at the end of our lives, so after our karma being our accumulated like lives, our choices at the end of it, our karma, you know, it's what we've accumulated in our within ourselves and our accountability. We know what karma is, guys. You know, we feel it. In the end of life, we get judged on it, you know, and the only judge in life is us, you know, us divine.
Friendly and easygoing and hilarious.
You know, when you stand up there, like my mom always said, we had to get the belt and stuff when we were young, we got belts. And you know, she said, you know, you make your choice. And your choice is yours to make and yours to make alone. And to be very definite, to know what you choose, because every choice you make has a reaction and a consequence. Therefore, every choice you make comes with that consequence. And when you make that choice, you need to know the consequence before. So you gotta think beforehand. Think it through. Don't just jump in headwaters, whoop, 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 unless it's for divine, because that's headwaters. You don't even know what's coming in. Poof. You weren't even looking. And then you're a mystic and a shaman.
For the most
or a priestess. As well. Do you not know? This is a funny one, because but look up the definition, because this is what we're supposed to shaman right now, and we have to look up all this stuff. And shaman is a Buddha is an enlightened person that knows the truth and can download all the knowledge from the divine and can speak of the spiritual realm, which is fun by me. I love it. I get to spiritual journeys and everything all the time, and I always download these things. It's great, and I just love it, and I just want to share it with you, because that's what my job is, and to talk to you and tell you all the truth, and spin it all around and love you all, tell you my truth, tell you, you know, bring wellness and freedom back to us.
Things that are getting in the way of that. That's what's really interesting.
But think of it, me, a little me.
He's not on social media.
It's Amazing Grace. Save a wretch like me. I couldn't believe it. I know, my dear. It's because you followed your heart. You followed your God. You followed God. You never left. You were not following any other God but your true self.
He doesn't have to.
And that's the ACS. You can now. What is it? Oh, how does that?
What an amazing example. What an amazing example.
What is that sentence or the one where it's like, oh darn, it'll come to me, atheists. I'll eat your heart out, because you were the ones following God the whole time, baby.
The apotheosis of comedy that Dave Chappelle's achieved. Here's these obligations. Now, I'm booked here to promote Luminary, my podcast with guys.
That's right, that makes sense. Because I know there's something that created me, and there's something that, you know, this shit doesn't make sense, and I know I'm not performing myself, I'm atheist, I'm not believing anything you tell me, unless I know it speaks for myself.
So, like, from like this week, my podcast will be on Luminary as part of their premium content. It's an app through which you'll get all podcasts, but my podcast is like you've got to subscribe.
Is that launched now? That's launched, because I know that was in the process of being created. Are you happy with that so far?
Because it's not launched, I don't know, but you know that like that you're going to leave listeners behind because it's gone behind the paywall.
The one God, only Him, and God Himself. Have no other God other than He Himself.
Yeah,
for you yourself.
Right, and I spoke to like and. What I recognised is because like the advertising model works obviously in your case.
So you can find your truth, so that we can all be in truth and unity together. Like the universe, the multiverses of universes, and the universes of multiverses.
2-3 years. That's what this it's supporting a lot of other content and essentially not yielding any creative control. If people subscribe, they get the premium content, my stuff. Like that, yeah.
And you get like
Trevor Noah, Lena Dunham, mine.
How many different?
I don't know. I think like in their premium content, there's like 40 or 50 premium, pieces of content. So for me, I thought like it felt like otherwise. Podcast would be something that I could continue to do forever, because I do films or TV shows or stand-up or whatever. It felt like a different,
as He had died for you a million times, He died for you.
Pay for,
before you knew who He was.
To run it, to pay for.
He wants that same respect and solidarity, just like we've all been looking for, and we know we are. We are within us. We know. You know you're human, and you ride or die, and ethically, morally, conceptually. We wronged a couple times, we didn't know. Our intentions were bad. We had pure of intention and desires who we really are.
Listener-supported stuff. Sam Harris was doing that for a long time, but then they had an issue with Patreon about certain censorship
You
of
know.
certain individuals and certain
And you can
ideological
know that I'm telling you the
perspectives where they
truth,
were,
and
you
just
know, leaning
understand.
towards
It's like,
left-wing things.
evolution doesn't
and,
come
you
from
know,
you're doing the
being
same thing I'm doing, and we keep repeating the
being
same fucking thing
restrictive
every
towards
night.
right-wing
And
things.
that gives us the same
you know,
results.
they
See, for the greater good, it's
policing
you
the
taking
way people
into
behave outside
account that
of
I'm bearing my
Patreon.
soul to
Some
you
people
and
found that
trusting the
objectionable,
fact that I am
he
doing
left,
so
and
because I love it and I love
some
all
other
of
people
life
left, like
and what
Jordan
I know is
Peterson
true,
left.
and I will fight and I
I've
will
never
live my life
entered
for
into
it.
Patreon
Is why I went
into
to
those
awakening
waters,
when I was
but
yelling,
I know
and
Bird
it
does
wasn't
it. I
on
think
drugs
Bird
when I
has
went to my
like one a
awakening. I
week
was
that he
yelling
does.
and
My
knowing for the
best,
first
yeah.
time in my
Really?
life
Yeah.
when I yelled, I was
He's
so
one of the
upset that
best.
he could not
Yeah,
see
so
what was
like,
going on in the world. My
like I
friend that
feel like
was dying,
yeah, I
and
feel like it's an alright thing to do. But even
and right
in,
there I stopped yelling, and
like
I
just
knew
with
right there in my
using
soul. It
things
was
like
the first
YouTube
time
and social
deep depth
media
that
and
I
you know
knew
like
what I would spend the
Spotify,
rest of
iTunes,
my
or
life,
whatever. Like you know,
passionately
as
spend the
we've
rest of my
seen,
life
there's a
doing was
point
to
where
free
there
the
is
minds
sort
of the
of
people so they
censorship
could
is
see
a
the truth
possibility,
and the harm and
like
the
as you
corruption of the
discussed on
politics
the
and the
Jack,
life and the world
like
that
that
we're
run
living
of
in, the lies,
episodes, mate.
the real
As I
lies,
said to you by text, between the
And
Jack
then the
Dorsey,
next day I
the
woke up
reaction to
and
that,
I
your
looked out my
response
window
to the
and
reaction through
I knew I
Alex
was the truth was me.
Jones and all that thing.
Boom,
That
sun
was a
enlightenment. Buddha.
spate of podcasts
Priestess.
that's like this is
BellaDawn.
where this medium can be. The Alex Jones
And
podcast
so
I
girl,
thought was
there's
the
one girl that
godfather
my friend
of
kind of tried to tell
podcasts.
her.
Have you seen the
It was on,
is that his area?
Glad this girl's like, oh no, it's just First Nations, you know, use all those
Yeah,
words of
we're watching right now.
nations and divide them.
Yeah, we have a guy
Corrupt,
who's hilarious. His name is Polly Toon. And
She's
Polly
like, oh
Toon
no,
makes,
you're just lying,
animated
you're
clips
crazy,
for
you
us
know,
on
only
the
these people get
podcast,
it.
and he's
You know, in
fantastic.
every religion
I
and
couldn't
every
believe one of the
because
Alex
religion
Jones,
comes from
Eddie
like
Bravo,
religion
incident.
for one is like laws.
They
The
tried
laws of
to,
you know,
yeah,
what
well,
you
they
are
were,
and
no,
all
not
do.
when he's
And
asking
Ten
the
Commandments
children
was the
here.
only
Oh, wait,
commandments
the
you know, given.
no,
Those are your
this
rules.
one.
10 Commandments. The rest of the stories and the fucking the pathway for your enlightenment to see and make sure and then you know to know the love of God. To learn to know the truth, right? All those books and all that. The 10 Commandments are your rules and 7 principles. There's 17 rules, man. And 7 of them are I'm already writing the book. Like I said,
The guy does
it's
awesome
letting go
work
of the
with
things
it.
that we cannot
So we're gonna get to the
control.
snacks.
And then alcoholics
I
now.
respect you. Hey, I want you guys to yell at each other for 3 minutes while I go pee. I gotta pee too.
Change the things you can control.
We'll do it in shifts. We'll do it in shifts. I'll go first.
Forget the things are like all the things you can't, and be wise enough to know the difference. See, with that, with those 3 sentences or whatever, and the 7 hermetic principles, the laws of universal that you cannot change, they are the laws of existence, and you are
what if I finance a research ship?
And then there's 10 commandments. That's pretty easy. That is all. That is all.
We're gonna need.
That
Are you guys going to the spoon or in the orbit?
following our true
Okay,
selves
you
and
raise the
our own.
money
That is it. Those are universal and godly fucking rules. That's universe. That's the one. That's God. Okay? Those are the only rules we need. 17 rules. And that's we need to realize to control and change only those things we can control. Forget and let go of the things that we cannot because they're universal laws, baby.
I'm gonna film the
Divine
drop
soul
off
paths
of
are
my
universal laws.
iPhone.
Okay?
Yes.
Unchangeable.
Yes.
You can
Go
change the
pee,
stars a
man.
little
Go
bit,
pee.
but if you have to walk
Don't you have to
back,
go? We're gonna send someone else. Alex,
you need to walk back. I love you, Alex Jones. So even though these things, I know why you're erratic and stuff, because if you watch some of my videos, I'm like Alex Jones is a girl. I'm like, no, you need to, you don't understand, no, it's because I wake up and do it every day, like literally my whole life, from morning till the time I go to sleep, it's all about waking and freeing and fucking why, I can't fathom how you guys can't see the truth, because you're so close to, you know, we look onto each other, it's like, now they're crazy, the billboards, you know, but Alex Jones, you are amazing, and, you know, Isaac and all these people that they forced in and they won't even let them on the internet anymore because they're telling you the truth, guys. They don't want you to see the truth. Otherwise, they would let you in to entertain you. Like, if we can make up a movie that gives you, if we can create a movie that is complete of utter what they would define as not real, it's all non-fiction, right? Right? It's non-fiction or fiction? Like I said, I didn't really define anything unless I thought it. But anyways, so whatever it's not real, they don't want you to see that. Just like they didn't want you to know that there's more than one being, and we already know that. Just like they didn't want you to know anything. They want you to know an absolute, and that, my dear, somebody that tells you an absolute and you don't get to think for yourself is telling you a lie. They're corrupting you, and the fact that they don't even want your brain to, that they want to stop it. Oh no, that's not allowed, you're not allowed to do that. Or you should think onto yourself, like if you think that way, oh my god, you think that way? No, those people have something to hide. If somebody can, not even a thought process, just walk through that. The things that are just natural unnatural and unthought of and uncourse and unconditioned, and I'm having to be a Buddha. Like at the dial, everybody, my friends, they're like, oh, you talk so much, blah, 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 you know. I'm like, no, dude, I don't have to think when I talk. Like whatever I'm thinking comes right out my mouth. There's no filter. There's no having to like sit there and worry about whether you see me as a naked person or you're looking on me. And I see it. Like I can actually see people looking onto me, and it may change my feelings sometimes. And I'm like, I used to can do, But now I can see that I'm actually like perceiving and feeling, my body's feeling what I'm perceiving in my mind from my perception of what they're looking onto me as through their eyes from mine. Oh yeah, it's a big mind game. We're gonna stop playing those mind games, guys, with ourselves and
keeping the show on the air,
see
whether
reality.
producers or executives. They would never agree with that. They'd be like, you can't have that crazy fucker on. You can't have this on. You can't have Eddie Bravo on all the time. You think the
whole
world is
point,
flat.
I think, is, yeah.
Stop this.
Just trust. Trust can evolve. Let's evolve it for the greater good. Greater good being there's we help each other. See, whatever I tell you, in the long run, it helps me too. Yeah, I can't hold it for myself, and everything I'm telling you, I can't make money off of anything. It's all for humanity. It's not my gift for you. It's your divine birthright. It's the gift from the creation, and it's just our message to tell you and to spread, to break bread with all of you. I'll give you a piece of everything. Every single person will have this bread, and I will come in down, and then you will, in your own kingdom, you will yell at the servants and say, why are we, who saved the last glass, or who saved the best wine for the last, right? As the two boys were told by Jesus, and he touched the bottle of the wine, or the water, and he turned it into wine, and then it was the best wine they had all night after they ran out of wine. And he's like, who did this, It's no, it's you, I will teach you how to make your own wine, so that the best glass, the last glass is always going to be the best. Because if you know how to do it yourself now, the wine is of your own, and it's always going to be the best. Because you no longer have to depend on anybody else for that secret. And we shouldn't have no secrets, as we are all one in a universal, flowing, ever infinite flow of evolution. And that's what our process needs to be. It does not this dog-eat-dog world. It needs to be about evolution and the greater good and what our children and us and the truth of it, the beauty and the magic and the things that we are. I am as you are. And we are divine, guys. You don't need to define by any words, because divine is pretty, and divine is like everything else, like just beautiful within you and out of you, divine, and that is it. There's no words, because nothing can define all this. Nothing can define any of this. Like, how can you define by a human? I'm a human. This is the greatest vessel. But like this is like your car, buddy, that you just bought, but it's live truth to the point that it confused you and brainwashed you and has manipulated you into believing that you're it, not within it. This is a vessel. This is an automobile. Like, think about it. It's created. Wow, right? Wow.
A lot of really crazy innovation in terms of like military
crazy innovation.
Stuff. But Boston Dynamics, they're the ones that make those crazy robots, and they work with DARPA. And those are the ones that make those robots that you can't kick over. Right. That's what you need. One of those that eats people.
The robots need to be. I get this, because as I was saying, what people do, the robots can look what people do. Well, probably because they can download whatever is on the internet, right? So they know of the sustainable development agenda of 2030 and the forcing of the slavery of the people zoo. That's what they're doing to you already. But it's already on the internet and in agendas. That's why those robots said it, not because the robots themselves brought it up. I guarantee that. It makes sense to me now.
In the malaise of my younger days,
so as long as we and the people that run the computers, we with the choice and the pens and the words, as long as we do for the greater good and we create for the greater good,
you can dream up.
if
someone's
the greater
trying to turn a
good,
profit,
we want good
and
guys.
they've taken it to the extent of the non-kick over robot, flesh-eating robot.
There's a new one. This is so scary. Is this Boston Dynamics? Yeah.
There's something very eerie about that type of motion. About the way that the movement of a snake is deeply coded to be unpleasant when you see it. They say about that movement, you think that ain't good. But it's
wow. Oh my God. They pull a truck.
When it's tiny little tootsies.
They're that strong to pull a truck? That's a giant ass truck.
It is also just a husky sled made out of expensive robots and a truck. They've spent a lot of time and endeavour to go backwards.
I guess.
Now we don't want robots with
to show how strong these things are.
You already have connection to all of the Akashic records, all of history, all of anything that's ever been within God's divine fucking presence. You have access to all of it, knowledge. Your brain, your computer is attached. We are a soul. We can sun, right? So we don't need to be a part of a computer. We don't need to transcend ourselves into robot. That is actually taking over our consciousness. See, if they convince you that you're going to be, oh my god, I'm going to be... No, they're going to convince you into fucking making your conscious be overtaken. Therefore, they're going to try and take your soul, your consciousness, and invade the divine, which is our truth, our God. The war of evil and good, right? Or good and evil, or devil and God.
He's amazing. That show is fantastic. But
really,
these things,
if you look at all of like universal astrology, has everything to do with our births and our dates. Says we are the stars, we are star seeds, we are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. So we just gotta get back to not eating out of the tree of knowledge. The tree of doctrine told you knowledge, like coursing of good and bad, and then divide. Yeah, they're looking on and shaming ourselves. We need to get back to the tree of life with God and really know our truth. The truth and our pineal gland and our sacred geometry and our Fibonacci and all the real stuff that we actually need to know, our fundamental use of our body, how our eyes work, how our body works, the best. The difference between all our dimensions and how to... We have a self-healing body. This body heals itself. We are given the best vessel, the best vehicle we could ever ask for. When my mom said you have 2 feet in a heartbeat, she was really right. That was the best vehicle I was ever given, 2 feet in a heartbeat. And I got there myself, Mama. I love you. Yeah, you still take all the time. We work all the time. She didn't work all the time, right?
Like a robot arm coming out. Oh, that looks so creepy. Look at that thing. Imagine we had one of those things in the room filming. We should get one. No.
That's another thing too. Like I got taken over home very young. For one, because my dad opened up his third eye, and he knew what he didn't understand the difference. Like he had no knowledge of the difference of dimension, right? So, but he knew what he was saying, and kind of like horse that. So the only thing I heard from my dad the last time I seen him at 11 was that he took us into CIS. He wanted to take us from my mom because my mom was a drinker, like what I mean. But she worked 7 days a week. Like, she literally worked all day until, like, 8 o'clock at night. So she'd go out till, like, what, like 10, 11, maybe midnight, had some things, some friends, she was young. She got forced into having a second child to begin with, because she fell in love and had her first child, and then my he won another one, and he had another son, and there's a lot of things that happen in between, but whatever, it's all the divine plan to figure out, and the enlightening. Everything we went through, trust me, is a divine plan, it's universal, and it's for a lesson. However, so she was still young, and she was like, she wanted to go out, and so when he took us in to see us trying to take us, is the divide of the families that don't talk to each other anymore. We should talk. We know that just because we have a past and we separated, we're still with one and each other, right? We should always be grateful for everything, and we should be inclusive in all of our kids' lives. They should know the truth and all the non-truth. There's nothing that you get to conform your child into believing or not believing or having or not having, because you are not, although you're the parent, the biological parent, you are given the entrusted the life of the soul of God, of their own path, their own path, and to guide them and help them get there. To love them and care for them, and for all to help each other to love them. But when the only thing I heard him say that I'm not just
progress and materialism, and I think the result is.
Okay, so when he took us into CIS, you two take us, and all I remember him asking was, the lady, he's like, do you believe in God? I just want to know, do you believe in God? And I mean, really, when I think about that, because it was like, oh my God, because I didn't believe in God, you know what I mean? I didn't know. I'm like, oh my God, he's crazy. I lived, ride or died, that we lived and died because of the social acceptability of watching my dad be taken away. And at the same time, my mom started getting questioned about her drinking. And we got taken out of my home that my mom fought and worked every day, 7 days a week, from the time she was a child all the way up. And she worked and she fought for that land. We built our own house. Even us kids, we outbuilt a house. We had everything that we needed. I had my beautiful magic. And my mom worked, and we knew how to cook food early. We knew that we were not given everything. We knew we had to do chores. I did a lot more chores than my brother, because he was, he ended up being a safety inspector or something, or a building inspector. Anyways, but I knew I couldn't get out of the house and do anything unless all the chores were done. So, you know, I benefited as he benefited from me. You know, he reaped the benefits of my rewards or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Because we were to do unto others, so we're done unto ourselves. But I wanted to go out and do stuff. So, see, we were given a strict lives. I had a good life that was a proper, beautiful. If we had have seen it through the eyes of the normal, the divine, the truth. Wow, thank you, Mom. Thank you. You know, the Lord that allowed what seemed to be so unfitting, so unacceptable. My dad that was labeled schizophrenic, which is now afraid to even tell his truth because of the things that you have labeled him, or the people have labeled him. The system of the corruption of the words has labeled him. He won't even tell his truth anymore because he's gone through the hate and the evil and the doctrine of, oh my God, looking on to as if you, just because you don't know your own truth, you want to tell them they don't know it? No, you're wrong, buddy. You don't get to say that. You don't get to. It's not a right of yours. The only right you have is to tell your own truth, to live your life, and to understand. To understand that, to control the things you can, not to control the things, let go of things you can't, and to be wise enough to know the difference. That's the big one. Being wise enough to know the difference, guys. And so, as my mom was a, fucking spirit, free will, beautiful, social butterfly, loved people. She worked hard. She devoted herself to, even though it's not with her perfect, marital, she's, wonderland, and she worked hard. And I had good fundamental, ethical, moral, even though not socially Jones is acceptable, what you would put on that paperwork of acceptance. I had the best. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, God. Thank you, everything. Thank you, divine. As I appreciate and love and am in this now moment and all my past memory moments. Thank you. I'm very blessed. We all are. And the feeling of this resonating, that's happening through my body, this higher, happy temperature, this frequency of constant, the smile that never leaves my face. My face hurts most days because I'm smiling so much now. And the beauty of it. But the fall, see that my life, I was 11 years old when that happened, and I got taken out of my homes, both of them. And I put with social ward, which is family, and family can never really see. Everybody looks on each other because people are divided, very divided. And thus, I got knocked around a lot. Now I was on my own, full out. I went back. I was, for a year here, a year here, and then finally, you're not going to school, but I think I was 14 or 15. I was going through multiple huge changes in life. I was ripped out of my home. I was everybody looking on at me, to tell me, I couldn't even look into I covered my face when I was really, I looked onto myself really badly as the socially acceptable view of what people looked at because the TV told you, or the people told you, or the doctrine told you to be, or to what was normal, or to what was proper, or to what was right and wrong, and otherwise you're scum, otherwise you're this, and they ripped me out of my home. And the CAS that walks in on a thought of somebody else's thoughts are imagination. Therefore, I was ripped out of my home by people that didn't know the truth, and they literally signed their name up to it, something that really, when they think about it, I hope they could not stand by. That for ripping apart a family and a child out of their natural home, and where they had a family, they had love, they had, even though they couldn't understand it from truth yet because they were living in lies, they had everything, the perfect life, the perfect, unconformed, undoctrinated real life. And I was ripped out of that at 11. 13 to 15, I was on my own. I literally